need to bring up something that is really hard to talk about, but right now we can't afford not to.
While the COVID-19 pandemic is taking lives, another epidemic is killing people too.
Mental health experts are telling us our kids and teens are in a mental health crisis. Suicide is now the second leading cause of death among 10 to 24-year-olds.
And the numbers have soared during the pandemic. Dustin Grove takes a look at this silent epidemic and why one family is speaking out to save lives.
So surprised how well those tulips are doing.
For the Randall family, simply remembering Dylan's smile is enough to warm everyone's heart.
That's him. That picture is totally him. Yeah.
Nearly a year after losing him.
He had a huge impact on everybody. He just didn't see it.
Dylan Randall was just 14 years old, a 7th grader at Western Boone Senior High School.
Very, very happy kid.
But in March of 2020, his mom noticed a major change.
When COVID hit, they shut the schools down, and he's a people person. So when they took him away from people, it just really affected him. And he just kind of started self-isolating, and we tried medicine.
They tried a therapist too, but none of it was working.
He went from very happy, outgoing person to never come out of his room, very violent mood swings.
Then one day after school last spring,
I found him.
Tasha Randall lost her son to suicide.
But you did everything you could.
Yeah. And I still lost my son.
And the reality is, Tasha is far from alone in feeling this kind of grief. Over a 6-month period last year, children's hospitals across the country saw a 45% increase in the number of self-injury and suicide cases in children compared to the year before. The same month Dylan died, Riley Hospital for Children in Indianapolis saw a 75% increase. Cases up 320% in May and 150% in October.
Yeah, I think here we are definitely seeing a mental health crisis.
Dr. Hillary Blake is a psychiatrist at Riley and says the numbers were already on the rise before the pandemic, but COVID sent them soaring.
I think a lot of it at the beginning was lockdown and removal from social situations, right? Not being in school. But I think it's just the continued stress of it.
The pediatric community is sounding the alarm for children and teens.
Enough for the American Academy of Pediatrics to declare children's mental health a national emergency. It launched a public campaign called Sound the Alarm to get people talking about suicide, something that's long been taboo.
I think we are so scared to talk about suicide when it comes to teens and children.
She believes we no longer have a choice.
So I think having honest conversations with your children and adolescents and asking how their mood is and if they've had any thoughts about wanting to kill themselves or wanting to harm themselves in any way are very important conversations to have.
How important is it, you think?
Very. Because I think mental health is such like a hush-hush topic in schools.
At Dylan's school, this group of students decided to do something about it.
All 4 of us, after we got back from the COVID-19 pandemic and we started going to school full-time, we all got together because we noticed the effects.
They partnered with the national nonprofit Bring Change to Mind, founded by actress Glenn Close to fight the mental health stigma. They started the Western Boone Mental Health Club. 73 students showed up to their first meeting.
Our only goal is to, 1, stop the stigma, and 2, provide a more welcoming environment where kids feel comfortable to talk, about anything. Like I had a bad day yesterday. Well, do you want to sit down and you want to talk about it? It's those private conversations that happen naturally that I think would really change some lives.
In the midst of her grief, Tasha Randall hopes all parents are listening.
I'm sharing Dylan's story in hopes to save children.
And certainly our thanks to the Randall family for having the strength and the courage to share their story.
Dustin, I think a lot of our viewers are going to be watching this story, and their parents, they've got kids what should they be looking for?
Well, you've heard about the feelings of hopelessness, right? Everybody's going to be better off without me. There are also other red flags, like talking about suicide. That's a red flag. There's a whole lot of things. Mood swings also, although that can be a little bit tricky when you're talking about teenagers because that's kind of normal for teenagers anyway. All the resources, a lot of areas of help at WTHR.com.
All wonderful tips there. And this story continues tomorrow.
That's right. We're going to have a town hall meeting online tomorrow at 1 o'clock on the WTHR Facebook page. We're going to have mental health experts, and you at home can submit your own questions and join us live for that conversation. What to look out for and where to get help when it comes to our kids and mental health. It's tomorrow, 1 o'clock on our Facebook page.
That is an important conversation.
Yep.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Dustin.